Mr. Lee talked about his routine. It is so important for you to have a routine which establishes your classroom management. I cannot speak to this enough. Classroom management is not something that can be taught to you. It's something that you have to experience, and you have to establish it for yourself. Classroom management has worked excessively well for me. People kind of look at me as the breaker, so to speak, because I'm the one who establishes the order, and I'm like military in my conveyance of what I want in my classroom. However, it also garners the respect of your students. When students know that you are prepared and that you are organized, they come into your classroom with a whole different mindset on what it is that they expect for that day. Classroom management has worked well for me because one thing that you have to understand is when you are establishing your classroom rules, you have to be consistent and not waver. And a couple of things that I talked about or wanted to talk to you about was the rules. I have rules in place. We go over the rules. And the kids will remember your rules as much as you implement them throughout the time. And as much as you implement them, it builds consistency in your classroom. One of the rules that I have, and everybody who knows me, they know that this is my rule. Other teachers have taken this, and feel free to use it if you like. It's called the 1-minute rule. It is so important how students enter your classroom as well as how they leave your classroom. That is so important, and you won't understand how important it is until you get into your classroom. When they come into my classroom, I'm at the door and I greet them the same way every day. Good morning. And I call them by name. Knowing your students' names is going to be so important because that's establishing a rapport with them. Because you're not just a student, you're Jose, or you're Angelica, and they'd like to hear their name called by their teacher. And so when they come in, you immediately set them to work. Always have your lesson plans ready to implement as soon as they come through the door. How many of you heard of bell ringers? Oh yes. Bell ringers are your friend. And let me tell you why they're your friend. First of all, it sets the atmosphere that learning is about to take place. And it also sets the students to start immediately in class. If you give kids, I'm just going to say this because it's the truth. If you give kids a minute to misbehave, they will take advantage of that minute. However, if you also give that student a minute to prepare and they know that they need to do something, they will be prepared. So when you set them down and tell them these are my rules and you implement those things consistently, it helps tremendously. It cuts down on a lot of classroom discipline problems because if students are busy and engaged, there's a difference between being busy and engaged. If your students are engaged and they are busy working and they know that they have to meet a goal in a certain time limit, they will be engaged.